It relates to UNESCO designated sites. There are a number of them in Ireland, and there is a proposal that's, I suppose, close to me both. I care a lot about it, and it's very physically close to me. Early monastic sites, there are 5 sites in Ireland which were part of one proposal. Durrow, Cealtra, McNamara, by far the most famous of them. And that proposal was sent to UNESCO by the last Fianna Fáil, at least the last government before 2011, the last Fianna Fáil government. I know there were other parties in it. And very little happened after that, Minister. Now, I asked numerous questions in the House of one of your predecessors and got very little answers. I know, Minister, that you may not have an answer to this right now. I'm not expecting you to be aware of things like this, but I got very few answers. So I went to the UNESCO headquarters myself in Paris, and I met with the staff, and they said, actually, we've heard nothing in years from Ireland on this. Now, I understand, and I could be wrong, that the problem, or one of the problems, is that these 5 early monastic sites are all in different local authority areas. And a UNESCO designation, while I think it would be very welcome because it protects the site, it also has planning implications for the area around the site. I mean, Ephesus is a famous one in Turkey, but you don't expect to see a shopping mall up against ancient Ephesus, no more than we hopefully wouldn't expect to see one, you know, the Clonmacnoise shopping experience. Hopefully isn't something that's going to come about anytime soon. But because of that, local authorities are reluctant, or some local authorities were reluctant to cooperate as much as one might expect. Now, if that is the case, is there a case to be made for splitting up the sites? And if there's one local authority or two who just don't want to be part of this, and your officials, or your good self, aren't in a position to persuade them that the greater good is to take part, well, then maybe we could proceed with the other sites. And I'd ask you to look at that, because I think there are a lot of advantages both in the protection of the site. Obviously, the Skellig Vihil has been protected as a result of the efforts of your department, but also the fact that there's UNESCO designation. But it's also, it puts it on the international tourist map. And I dare say that I'd like to see that happen with Cealtra, which is, and it's colloquially called, on Lough Derg. And I think there's a lot of scope to move forward on that. And that if you don't have the answers right now, I'd ask you that you provide one within a certain period of time to me in writing, Minister.
Thank you. Is that the Cealtra? Is that on the Lough Derg where the retreat is? No, it's a different one. Oh, it's a different one, yeah.
Of being more concerned about
I'm not sure
Cealtra and Clare than Lough Derg and Clare than Lough Derg and Donegal.
Great memories of the other Lough Derg, which is quite tough. But no, the local authorities, you know, as you know, are expected to take the lead in terms of nominating potential World Heritage Sites. And just for your information, the new tentative list will be submitted by UNESCO by March or July 2021. So we actually extended the application process. I'm not aware of the particular place that you talk of, or even its status. But you know, the applications can be taken up to the 31st of March. Skellig Michael, as you know, is a World Heritage Site, and I mentioned earlier on here in the Dáil that it is important in terms of tourism. But you know, there are certain criteria that they have to fulfil. One of them is that they have, you know, something very special about them, and I take your word from it. But you know, really, the local authority itself, though, you know, has a certain autonomy in terms of, you know, applying, or in terms of promoting. But we're currently managing the 10-year review of that. But the department does have a say, you know, and I think that, you know, we obviously have to make selections, and there is an expert advisory group as well that advises the department in terms of particular sites. So the site must demonstrate outstanding universal value. And no, I'm not disputing that, but obviously there is a process there that has to be followed. So, you know, certainly if you wish, you know, we can talk to you offline about it, and, you know, we can certainly liaise with you in the department in relation to it.
You're in a position as Minister for Culture before you leave the position to put it on the map.
Yeah.
Thank you.